Good evening, everyone. So again, my name is Sancha. So I work with the Migrant Rights Center Ireland. Now, to begin with, Migrant Rights Center Ireland is a national organization working to advance the rights of migrant workers and their families at risk of exploitation, social inclusion, and discrimination. MRCI handles up to 3,500 cases annually through our National Drop-In Center. It is a free and confidential service, so we provide information, support, advocacy on various issues, including immigration rights, family reunification, work permit, and employment rights through face-to-face appointment meetings, Zoom call, telephone, and ongoing public awareness campaigns. So the Migrant Rights Center Ireland has been taking a stand with migrants to tackle the root causes of inequality since 2001. Now, just to mention that the materials that we prepare this evening, the information purposes, this is only for information purposes only, with no guarantee of accuracy or applicability to a particular set of circumstances. So these materials are not intended and should not be considered legal advice. The Migrant Rights Center Ireland disclaim any legal responsibility for the content or the accuracy of the information provided. MRCI is not a practicing law center. So most of this information are from the family reunification policy. And just to let you know that the current family reunification policy is under review by the Department of Justice. Now, so to begin with in this session, family reunification, if you're planning to get your family back in your country of origin, or if you're currently living in Ireland, you may be eligible to bring your non-EA family members to live with you. The family reunification process can be complicated, but generally, your rights to sponsor a family member and their pathway into Ireland is based on 3 points. Your immigration status in Ireland, for example, if you're on a stamp 3, stamp 1, stamp 4, or stamp 5, stamp 6. Your relationship to your family members, if you're going to invite or get your wife, your husband, or your children. If your family members is a visa or non-visa required. So it is important to know whether you're a visa required. Let's say from China, you're a visa required. From, let's say, Philippines, you still need a visa to come. Nigeria, India, and non-visa required. Example are Brazil, America, South Korea, and others. Now, in terms of the sponsor, a family reunification, it involves 2 people, the sponsor and the family member who is the applicant. So normally the sponsor are already here in Ireland, inviting the family member who are still in the country of origin. If your family are already here on a stamp 2 or no legal status, you could no longer apply for family reunification. But there are other avenues that you can use in order to make them legal in the state or get a different immigration status. The sponsor must assume a level of responsibility for the family members they are seeking to bring to live in Ireland. Therefore, the sponsor is generally required to meet specific financial or income requirements. So as a sponsor, we have some kind of responsibility to the people that we are inviting. So the visa section has a salary threshold for different types of migrants or different categories of migrants. And I will discuss that later. Now, sponsors are broken down into different categories like the Irish citizen and the three categories of non-EEA national sponsor based on family reunification policy. It could be category A, B, or C. Now, for category A, this is for non-EEA sponsor. Eligibility to sponsor application for immediate family reunification. So meaning that when you arrive here, you don't need to wait for a year, as long as you can provide some of the supporting documents that is required by the application. So who are this category A? So these are critical skills employment permit holder. These are PhD, full-time non-locum doctors in employment, approved scholarship program student, investor, entrepreneurs, business permission holders, researchers, intra-corporate transferees, minister of religion if the church is providing or maintaining the particular sponsor. Now, for category B, they are only eligible to apply for family reunification after 12 months. And you can find this on page 46 of the family reunification policy. So this includes non-critical skills employment permit holder from visa required countries. So when you say non-critical, that is the general employment permit holders, and they are, it depends on the kind of category, if they are in meat sector, if they are in healthcare assistant. Then the next one is all stamp for holders not covered by other more favorable arrangement. So an example of this is the recent regularization scheme stamp 4. So they got a stamp 4 when their application has been approved. So, and the last one is the minister of religion, if they are not being supported or maintained by the church. So they are falling under the category B. Now for category C, it means they are not eligible to sponsor application for family reunification. And this non-EAA national, including stamp 2, except for some PhD students and stamp 2A. So they are a student, in other words, and then stamp 0 and working holiday authorization holders. So this type of stamp, they are not eligible to sponsor application for family reunification. Now, for the family members, these are the applicant, okay? And who will be eligible, to apply for family reunification. So they are divided into different category also. So A, we have the immediate family. It is the spouse, the husband, the wife, civil partner, whether they are civil partner or married or de facto partner. If it is de facto partner, they should be cohabiting for at least 2 years. Children age of 18, including adopted children, provided that the adoption is recognized by the Irish state. Stepchildren, full-time members of sponsor household. Children between the age of 18 and 23. This is important because some people, because they are trying to meet the salary threshold, their children already reached the age of 18 and up to 23, provided that they are in full-time education and still financially dependent on the sponsor. So they are qualified to apply if they meet this particular criteria. Now, children over the age of 18 also, where the child is dependent on the sponsor, it's either directly or indirectly due to a serious medical or psychological problems, so that it makes difficult to have an independent life in the home country. So it is possible to get them or apply for family reunification. And of course, parents, your mother or father, and other family members. Now, for financial threshold, I'm going to discuss only category B because these are the most common kind of issues that we are encountering in the center. So category B, in case there are no children, if you're going to sponsor only about your wife or your husband, you must show a minimum earning of 30,000 gross for the previous 2 years. So let's say, for example, you're going to apply this year. So you have to show the tax certificate that you have paid at least 30,000 in 2023 and in 2022. So the figure increases depending on the number of children. When you're talking of children, it is different. We cannot use the 30,000 gross income. So for the financial threshold, I have the example here. As of 4th of January 2024, as if you have one child, two children, three children, as you increase the number of your children, you increase also the salary threshold. So for a child, the net income per week, this is a net one. So after the deduction, if you will see your pay slip, there is a net pay. So if one child, if you're getting or planning to invite one child, it is 645 per week. So estimate the estimate gross income. This is a gross estimate income is around 40,500. Now for two children, 746 net income per week, estimated 50,000 gross income. Children, three children, 847 net income per week, estimated 6,000 gross income. And again, for a spouse, it's 30,000 gross income. So let's say, for example, commonly in the center, if the parents, both parents are here, so they are both healthcare assistant and they are only based on their general work permit, they're earning 27,000. So they combine the income, 27,000 plus 27,000, that is 54,000. So to invite, their children back in their country. So two people will be sponsored, the parents, the mother and the father. Now, if in case you did not meet the financial threshold, so savings by the applicant or sponsor may be considered in assessing the application if the sponsor falls short of the financial income threshold. Okay, so let's say, for example, you can show this through your bank statement, So when you say savings, the one that I can see, in most of the application, the bank statement shows that there is a kind of considerable savings, cumulative. Every month there is a savings of 500 or 1,000, until some of them, they have 3,000. But it's not a saving of just one go that they borrowed it from their friends. So let's say, for example, when you're talking about savings, you will borrow a 20,000 to your friend and then you put it on your bank statement. So they will question that one. But if it is kind of cumulative, that they are showing that every month or every week, you have form of savings until you reach maybe 3,000 in your bank account or 4,000 savings. Plus also the savings of the applicant are being considered. That's why if you have that, you can show also the bank statements of the applicants. Now, the figure provided by the working family payment are for guideline purposes only, and an immigration officer may take into account several factors, including if the children are going to school age, and deem a cost to the state. So the responsibility is on the applicant also to satisfy the immigration authorities as to the level of earnings and financial resources available. That includes providing sufficient supporting documents as evidence. So it is really important, when applying, that all your kind of financial evidence you need to provide. If they're asking for 6 months bank statement, provide it. If they're looking for 6 months payslip, provide it. Because it's so difficult when it is already on the appeal stage. You're waiting for 12 months and then you'll be refused. And the appeal could take 12 months also. So you need to be careful in providing all these supporting documents. Now, the steps in applying for a visa, there is an online portal, okay? And it is on the website. All you need to do is first check if the applicant or your family member needs a visa to come to Ireland. As of now, South Africa, before they are non-visa required, but beginning today, they are now put into a visa required country. So you have to check it again from time to time because there is always change happening. Now, then, which travel path you would like? Would you like to invite them on a visitor's visa or family reunification that is long stay visa or pre-clearance? So you have to choose, what kind of application. Now, each applicant will need to complete this online form via this online portal. Now, if you're going or you're planning to apply for your husband and a child, so you need to complete an online form for your husband, and you need also to apply for your child. So you have to complete 2 separate online forms. Then once you have completed, you have to print this and then sign. Now, once you sign this, there is an embassy, suggested embassy, or what you call it, the third party processor, like we call it BFS or VFS. So in some countries like Philippines or China or India, so once you print the online application form, you put all the supporting documents and submit it to the designated embassy or the third-party processing company. Now, what are the supporting documents that you need to provide? As I said, signed and dated summary application form and the appropriate fee. In terms of fee, if it is single entry, is 60. If it is multiple, it is 100. And if it is transit visa, it's 25 euro. Now, 2 color passport size photos, not more than 6 months old, your current passport, and full copy of all previous passport if you have. A signed letter of applicant. When you say a signed letter of the applicant, if it is coming from if the applicant is your wife, she needs to write a form of application, and if you need a template, we can provide that because you need to include your full contact details, outlining your reason for coming to Ireland, of course, joint spouse, providing details of the family members in Ireland who is sponsoring application, giving details of any family members or your family who are currently in Ireland, if you have a brothers already or a sisters already who have been living here for a long time and they may be an Irish citizen already. from the United Kingdom and other EU members of the state. So in that signed letter of application, these are the information that you need to provide. And again, if you need a template, you just contact us and we will provide you a template letter on this. Now, for the sponsor, status or eligibility to sponsor, for a sponsor who is a non-EEA citizen, please provide a clear and legible copy of all pages of their passport. So I'm telling you, most of the appeal, the reason for refusal, they are providing a copy that you could not read at all, or it's very blurred. So ensure that when you photocopy it, ensure that they can read it. You know, it is clear. Where relevant, of a copy of their certificate of registration, a document issued by the Irish Immigration Authorities. This is the IRP card. A copy of their current employment permit. You know, if you're a general work permit holder, if you're a researcher, hosting agreement, you know, you have to provide the letter or other evidence of eligibility to sponsor. So you have to provide those copy and ensure again to make it legible as possible to prevent the refusal. Now, evidence of claim relationship. If you're a spouse or civil partner, of course, the marriage certificate. Now, if you're divorced, let's say your husband is divorced and you're going to apply, the husband will apply, make sure that you include the divorce documents. Otherwise, it will be refused. Okay. Ensure that all the certificate must be recognized under the Irish law. Otherwise, they will not consider this. Then a full account of relationship histories, including where and when you met, how your relationship developed, future intention of the state. It is very personal, but they are requiring it. Let's say I met my husband in India when it was raining. When you met, date, you have to when and then where. So let's say in November 2021 or maybe 1979, you've been married for a long time. How your relationship developed. I met my husband during our college days, and then from then on, our relationship blossomed, and then we got married. Future intention in the state. If you are, why are you coming to Ireland? Of course, I wanted to be with my spouse, or if the children, I want to be with my parents, you know, to build our relationship, to nurture our relationship, to live here in Ireland. So those are kind of reason. Now, supporting documents can include visa, entry-exit stamp, the passport, photographs, call logs, screenshot, the message, letter, present. So you have to, this part really, you know, it's, some of them are having difficulty because sometimes, oh, I am doing it only messenger. You have to photocopy, you know, if you're doing some kind of communications through messages like messenger, you have to copy it, you have to show it. And some of them are in a different language, but you have to show that the relationship exists. You know, if you visited your, let's say your family members in your country of origin, make sure that you have the entry exit stamps. If you keep your ticket, make sure that you have to show it, you know, you make sure, keep it. So for the purpose of submitting, you know, and claiming a genuine kind of relationship. Then a relationship must include several face-to-face meetings between the parties. It is not sufficient for a relationship to have developed solely over the internet, telephone, SMS, or webcam for immigration purpose. So most of the cases that I can see that they are refusing, let's say they just got married, you know, and there is no, very little evidence really that they have met face-to-face. It's only during their wedding. So I encourage you, just when you visit them, you know, keep keep some photographs, make sure that the photographs have date and time, because otherwise they will not consider it. There's no time and date also. Now, children or under age of 18 and unmarried, you need to provide birth certificate in the case of child from previous marriage or relationship, evidence of full custody, affidavit by the parents consenting the child being removed from their home country. Now, children above 18 to 23 years, same as above, letter of employment, enrollment in the education. Now, all of these certificate or supporting documents, if they are in other language, ensure to translate it in English. So finances, applicant's 6-month bank statement immediately before the applicant's application. You cannot use, the bank statement let's say last year. So it should be immediately before the applicant's or before the applicant's application. Sponsor 6 months bank statements. So again, applicant and sponsor, of course, except some of the children who are below age 18, they don't have a bank statement. Now, sponsor who is resident in Ireland, evidence that they meet the minimum level of earnings required. So to show that you have, it's an online now in terms of tax. You can download, the employment details summary from revenue for 2 or 3 years immediately prior to the date of your application. If self-employed, you must submit a notice of assessment of income from self-employment. And of course, 3 most recent years and evidence of earnings in the period since the most recent tax return was filed. Evidence that they meet the minimum level of earning required, in your tax cert. 1 year in the case of employment permit holder who has been in Ireland, and other things. And of course, 3 recent consecutive pay slips. Now, an employment permit holder must include a copy of their contract of employment, at least 1 year from the proposed date of entry, giving their annual salary is required. Now, evidence of dependency, this is important, I have seen loads of refusal if you cannot provide these particular supporting documents. It may vary from case to case, but the evidence may be amount, frequency, and duration of financial support. This is in form of you're sending money or transferring money. So if you have a bank statement or money transfer receipt, this is what you call the remittance. In other words, that when you are sending money to your loved ones or to your husband or children back home. So you need to provide that and to show that they are depending on you and you're providing financial support. Applicants, other sources of income that you may have. If you have no other source of income, evidence of why you're unable to work or you're not eligible for state benefits. Your living costs, evidence of mortgage, if you have mortgage or rent, utility, food, medical, education payment, you have to show that also. Details of any other family members, your country of residence, your medical condition, where it is relevant, relationship with the sponsor, including the evidence of active and continuous involvement in life. For example, evidence of visits or correspondence. As I said a while ago, through messenger, visits, make sure that you have to keep your visa, entry visa in your country of origin, including the plane ticket, Now, another one is medical or travel insurance. Evidence of medical or travel insurance does not need to be provided with your application. However, there are times that visa officer may request for it. Then previous visa refusal, if you have been refused of a visa in the past in any country, You must provide the details. The original letter issued to you by the authorities of the country must be provided with your application. So if you have a previous visa refusal, you have to keep that because they will ask that definitely. And most of the time, that is one of the issues why they're being refused, because they cannot provide this refusal letter. Now, the current processing time as of yesterday, 9th of July, 2024, for the employment, if you will see, it is 20 of May 2024, but joint family sponsor in category B, when you say employment, that is work permit, when you receive a work permit, you apply to come here. That is for general work permit, critical skills, etc. Now, for joint family sponsor in category B, it is 13th of July, 2023. So meaning the application process, the average is more or less a year. But again, it depends on the location. There are some locations, like I have noticed in India, if you are coming from they are coming from India, it's more quicker, around 8 to 9 months, And but if you're coming from China or Philippines, I have noticed that it's around 12 months. So it depends on the location also, or maybe it depends also on the processor, the BFS, how quick they are processing also the visa application there. Now, as I said, in applying, that's why I am discussing in details all the supporting documents, because I don't like your application to be refused, because once it is refused, it will take another 12 months to wait for the refusal, because the refusal time frame now to process is 12 months. So almost 12 months waiting plus another 12 months, 24 months. So you need to be careful really in your application. Double check, make sure that all your documents are presented well. You can read it, translate it, and if you need somebody to check your supporting documents, feel free to contact us. So in the visa application is refused, an explanation. They will send you a letter outlining the different reason. So let's say financial, let's say lack of supporting documents, insufficient, how do you call this, information. I have seen like there's no letter from the school. So one that I have seen refusal is that the photo submitted has no date and time. The other document is not clear. So there are loads. So there's no history of relationship. There's no application letter. So ensure that you provide all of this. And then when you receive this letter, you have to answer it one by one, point by point. So let's say sponsor does not meet the financial requirements. So if you have some savings, explain why, and then point out, that you have met the financial requirements. So not enough supporting evidence on the relationship between applicant and sponsor. Maybe you did not submit, some of the, how do you call this, the copies of your messenger. So try to copy it. If it is in messenger, some of them maybe in video call, have to show it. You have to show that there is an evidence, that you have relationship, they have evidence of relationship between applicant and sponsor. It is very important to ensure that the comprehensive and detailed supporting documents are submitted. Again, try to review, and if you are not clear, and if you think that you are not confident, that you have all the supporting documents, you can ask us, you can message us, in this drop-in center, just put your name, last name, put your email, mobile, and give a brief kind of details of your situation so that we can address it. Just say, I need help. No, just provide at least, what you want us to, details of your situation and what assistance that you need. So that just to save time so we can answer you immediately. Or if it is necessary, we can set an appointment. So thank you so much for joining us, and we